What's up everybody, my name is Big Cam and today we are back with another 1/6 scale DC figure unboxing, but not a Hot Toys figure today. We have a off-brand Mars Toys, and this is from Batman Begins, and this is what they call the King of Enigma, or the Riddler, which is for them MAT015. So this is the 15th MAT Mars Toys figure that they did, and it just says 1/6 scale collectible figure on the side. It's got a little bit of the art on the back of the figure where you got Jim Carrey's, more smiling head sculpt with the hat off, and then you have him with his tongue kind of licking his teeth and with the hat on head sculpt, so two different head sculpts. And he comes with his question mark cane and a bunch of other accessories, so we'll look at those more in 1 second. But let's just look at the big old question mark logo on the front there. Nothing on the top, nothing on the bottom. Yeah, so not too much. And just so you guys know, tomorrow there's another Mars Toys unboxing coming out, and that would be for the brand new dual face MAT024, so 9 figures difference from 24 to 15 here, and definitely a newer figure. But this is also from Batman Begins, and this is the villain that is side by side with Jim Carrey's Riddler, and that would be Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face. And I was always a fan of how campy and crazy these two were in Batman Forever when I was a kid, but when you get to see it as an adult, it just hits so different, and you're like, yeah, these guys are great. I don't know why this movie's so hated. And yeah, like, it's not an actual great movie, but as far as the villains, Riddler, Jim Carrey, and Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face absolutely crushed it. Val Kilmer's Batman, not so great, but not the worst either. Val Kilmer's Bruce Wayne is pretty awesome, I'll tell you what. But just so you guys know, that's coming tomorrow, so stay tuned to check out that unboxing video, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss the notification when that comes out. But just sliding off the top here of the King of Enigma, oh boy. Oh boy, and we got a big green question mark sheet there that pops off the top there, and then we got a whole bunch of accessories. I believe these are Riddler bat-shaped bombs, and they're green with question marks on them. I'll show you a closer look at all this stuff eventually. It looks like he's got, the brain activating device, the brain drainer that he uses. Looks like it comes with the Halloween mask from the one scene in this movie. Looks like it comes with a little 1/6 scale Riddler drawstring bag. He comes with the Riddler staff and this little magnifying glass for his eye when they're looking at the diamonds in that one scene in the movie. But I think the diamond itself is an accessory for Riddler, or for Two-Face. So you can have an accessory and a thing from Two-Face, and it directly relates to an accessory and a thing for the Riddler. I think that's a great touch, and I think Hot Toys should do more things like that. Like, say, Shang-Chi and his father, Wen-Wu. They both come with accessories that connect to each other if you have both figures. But other than that, that's the only Hot Toys figure I know that has something like that. But I think for stuff like this, where Batman Forever is one movie, it has 2 villains from that movie that are side by side together for the most part, why not have some accessories that both of them can interact with and use and kind of pose with them together? I think that's definitely something I will do. But, you got a bag of hands here and a bunch of swap out hands, 2 head sculpts, the hat, the display base, and we'll take a closer look at all of this. But I just want to take a closer look at that figure. So it's popped off the top of this clamshell here, and taking the figure out. He does seem maybe a little stiff, but I can work with that and make him, fit a little bit better. It does look like he's got some buttons on the front there if you want to do up his little jacket look. I believe you can take that jacket off, and he's got just kind of like the green spandex look like he has from the movie. So that's not so bad. But yeah, not a bad looking figure. Oh, and actually the hand, I believe, slots into the hand slot, like the ankle, the wrist peg, and then the actual outfit goes around the hand and threads through it so that you can have this like seamless jumpsuit look. That's actually kind of cool. And you have a bunch of other hands, so that will probably be a bit of a hassle to swap the hands in and out. You know, it'll be a little bit more effort, but I'm sure it will look good when you get around to it. Now, I have heard the ankle peg is awful. Like, why is it in the middle of his shin and not at his ankle? But I don't know, maybe that just means he's gonna have a little bit more sturdy of ankle, but the actual, like, when you get to like bend him into a weird pose, it's going to bend in the middle of his shin instead of by the shoe itself. But hey, it is what it is. You know, I guess it's supposed to kind of be like, oh, it's a low-cut shoe, so it's supposed to be his ankle bending up there. But if, like, you look like that, it's like, ow, I just broke my leg, you know, like, you know, so that's how it kind of came out of the box. I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy has got broken legs, you know, but then if you straighten them out, they don't look so bad, but I don't know how dynamic a pose you're going to be able to get those ankles into. And I'll definitely give you a closer look at this figure when we're looking at everything on the table in front of me. But the actual Riddler head sculpt itself looks pretty good. You know, I'm not so mad at it. Although his tongue out in side eye with no movable eyes, in you know, no swap out face plates or anything like that. So you are stuck to the one face thing he's got here. And this one has the hat fully stuck on him, where it does come with another hat so he can hold it, but he can't put this hat on the other head, which I think is dumb. You know, like, there should be a hat removable and hat being able to put on option that isn't fixed. You know what I mean? Like, I wish this hat was able to come on and off and not be, you know, stuck down glued there. But this will definitely make for my Batman Forever display, because if you guys missed last week's videos, I just did Batman and Robin from Batman Forever. So now I'll have, you know, the Caped Crusader and the Boy Wonder across from their villains from that movie, and with Two-Face and Riddler. So I'll have the four of them, and then eventually when Hot Toys ships those, I'll have the Batman and Robin of George Clooney and Christopher O'Donnell's Batman and Robin, but also Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze. So I can't wait to get that figure as well. But my DC collection has been getting padded out very much so recently, so I'm gonna have to do some more rearranging of the shelf behind me even more. But I also have one shelf free, so who knows, maybe some stuff's getting demoted down to the bottom shelf. So we'll see that at the end of this video when we get to, you know, posing and putting this figure on the shelf. But why don't we pull all of the accessories that the Mars Toys King of Enigma comes with and lay them out on the table in front of me here and see what kind of accessories Mr. Riddler has to offer. Alright, we have the King of Enigma from Mars Toys with all of his accessories laid out here in front of us. And you can see that head sculpt there, and it looks a little weird from a little bit further back. But when we take a closer look at it, it does look really good. But from a distance, I don't know if I like the tongue out licking the teeth pose for that Riddler face sculpt. But we also come with a secondary one where he looks very much so smiling ear to ear and happy and mouth wide open. So I don't know, maybe we could have gone more of like the Two-Face route and had a smiling but then have like a normal stoic pose, you know. But this Riddler, not really a stoic guy, but I don't know if these are the best of face sculpts that we could have gone for. But you can see the amount of hands that it comes with. It comes with the two hands on the body, comes with two fully splayed out hands, two kind of grabbing with the index finger hands, two fully grabbing hands, two kind of grabbing with the just the grip of the hand, but like the tip of the finger. I don't know. That's a weird one. And then there's this weird one as well. Maybe that fits the cane perfectly, but I was like, what are all these accessories for? And maybe they're for the various different things to hold, but a ton of hands. Maybe the most hands I've gotten with any of my figures. 6 sets of hands, 12 hands total. Like, that is absolutely insane. And then you can see this bag of tricks over here, and we'll grab one of these. But there's a bag, you know, drawstring bag over there filled with these little bat bombs, and they're green with the question mark and a little face drawn on them. They're little cute things, but these are the Riddler's little question mark bat bombs from Batman Forever, and you know, he uses these in the films. They like bounce around and then explode in the Batcave. But not a bad little accessory. I think they give you 4 or 5 of these, and then you can store them in like the drawstring bag. So I'll probably have these just kind of like displayed by his feet. Then you have this brain draining device thing, and there's like a really big version of this in the movie, and this spins around and it like drains all of the people's brain waves into like this device, and then like he can cipher it into his brain to make himself the smartest human or something like that. I don't know how it works, but this looks like a little button here. This spins around, but if you shake it, you can see that those little rocks in there, you know, rattle around and kind of give you that satisfying shaker noise. There's also like a miniature version of this, where this is like he puts this on your forehead and starts draining your brain or something like that. This is like, you know, the handheld device. My brain's like a fried egg, or he says something like that. I believe he does this to Two-Face, and Two-Face is like, can I get another hit of that? So it's kind of like a drug thing for him. He's like, this is how he gets high, is he drains other people's brain waves into his brain so that he can tell all of the riddles and know all of the riddles and have all of the knowledge. But yet Batman still beats him. And of course he's got this little like magnifying eyeglass thing, and it's supposed to be him like looking at a diamond, and then Two-Face goes, no, that's a diamond. He holds up a really big one. I wish Two-Face came with that accessory. I originally thought he did, but he doesn't. So this is kind of useless. You know, at least you could have had a tiny diamond for him to hold to be able to use this as an accessory. Now it's kind of useless, you know. But he does come with his own Halloween mask, and the Two-Face comes with a slightly different one with devil horns, so that they can both have their own individual masks to go trick-or-treating at Bruce Wayne, you know, Wayne Manor, at his house. And yeah, weird Pinocchio nose, but cool little mask nonetheless. And we'll take a look at that staff in his hand and the Riddler himself more in a second. But let's just take a look at the final accessory, this other head sculpt and the hat that it comes with. And you can see that head sculpt, this hat doesn't necessarily fit on it. I mean, if you wanted to have it on the side, you could, or like just kind of like he's putting it on, but it's not fully on, you could. But it doesn't necessarily fit on the head in any certain way, you know. But he does have his kind of like flat top, ginger red hair, and he goes through like quite a few outfit and haircut changes throughout the film. And you know, he's got those green painted on like mask and the eye black, and you can see he's slightly crazy pose, but big wide open teeth. You can almost hear Jim Carrey going, aha, you know, like like he's got that crazy neck muscles too when he does this shit. Like he's always screaming. Yeah, Jim Carrey's Riddler is so one of a kind and crazy. I mean, Paul Dano's in The Batman is pretty good, but this Riddler is just absolute madman. And I don't know if I like this head sculpt better or the other one, but this one, you know, at least it does represent him a little bit better, and maybe it just looks a little bit less weird with the tongue not out. But let's take a look at the other head sculpt. Like just straight on, it doesn't look very weird, but you add like a little head tilt in a turn, and it starts looking, you know, more realistic, and that tongue out looks, you know, not bad up close, but you could see what I was saying when it gets further away, it doesn't, you know, look as good. But, you know, I wish this figure maybe had rolling eyes to be able to make your own type of expressions. But I do like that this normal head sculpt comes with some built-in side eye, you know, so it's kind of more like this, you know, or even maybe further. Like the more I turn his head and the more I, you know, get weird with it, the more I see Jim Carrey's Riddler, you know what I mean? With this head sculpt in particular. But this also has a, you know, not removable hat. So if you want to rep him without the hat, you have the other look, but then his mouth is like this fully smiling pose, and then you can't put the hat on. So I don't know. I'm almost thinking I'm going to rep him like this with this jacket on and that, you know, hat look with the tongue out and with this great looking accessory. And we'll take closer look at the outfit for the Riddler in a second, but just to look at this accessory, big giant gold question mark staff, and I believe this part opens up top here.
So you can see it opens up like that. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be more detail than just 3 red lights on there, but maybe, you know, the paint detail didn't last or something. But the actual lights and device thing that we see him using this with in the movie, he's like, you know, going around to doors in Wayne Manor trying to, you know, figure out where the secret rooms are, and this is how he gets into the Batcave. But just kind of cool little effect that it does kind of swivel there, and you kind of gotta like push it back in the little peg where it's supposed to swivel at, because mine was very stiff. So I don't know if I'll be able to get it sit perfectly back flush the way it was. Honestly, I don't think I should have ever opened that back up, because it was sitting so perfectly beforehand. Now that I've opened it, I can't get it to sit perfectly flush. So now I might need to rep it with this thing open like this, you know, or like fully opened or whatever, because I can't get it to sit fully perfect again. Isn't that a pain in the ass? It is what it is, you know, that's what you get for using soft plastic materials and little joints like that there, where, you know, that's not very strong, and like obviously that's a tiny piece of plastic, so it's not like the best made material, you know. If this was maybe die cast, maybe this would work better, you know. If it was heavier, if it felt like it had more weight, maybe it would be a better piece. But, you know, it's still kind of cool that it comes with a cane and has a little, you know, question mark Riddler thing to pose with. Cool accessory, glad they included it, but I wish that, you know, device at the top there was made a little bit better. But you can see the Riddler base there, just like the Two-Face's base, but just kind of the one question mark with a little bit of green instead of the two-toned Two-Face base where it's green and pink. But yeah, the Batman Forever logo, very simple, and I'm glad it doesn't say King of Enigma and they're able to get the Riddler on the front there. That is a plus, and it comes with a crotch grabber, so that's a plus as well. But I'm not sure how you would get the buttons undone with this thing, but I'm pretty sure this jacket comes off and you have the full spandex, you know, other outfit underneath. I don't know if I will actually go for that, but I think I might need to, because to swap out the hands, you know, it looks like the little spandex goes around the thumbs of each of the hands. So if I want to swap out this pose, I'm gonna have to play around with the outfit anyways. So maybe I do that with the jacket off, but I don't know. I kind of like how this Riddler's sitting already, so I don't know if I want to change him so much, but yeah, he's not, you know, bad. He's got those various different question marks all over his suit and the head sculpt and the spandex. The one bad thing about this figure, I pointed out earlier, is that the ankle peg is like in the middle of the shin, and like that sucks, you know, like not a whole lot of movement. I mean, you got forward, but that's still kind of ankle, you know, like, so you're gonna have to be real creative and be careful with how you pose this figure, because he might look strange. But let's toss this figure into a couple of different poses and see what he's looking like with his accessories on him. But let's see if I can get this Riddler from Batman Forever, the King of Enigma from Mars Toys. Let's see what type of poses I can get him in. And then let's toss him next to the Mars Toys Two-Face and see what they look like together. And then maybe toss this figure next to the Batman and Robin from Batman Forever as well, and see what they're looking like. All right, we have the Riddler on the turntable spinning around for us here. In his first pose, we have him with the full jacket look with the hat, and he's wielding his gold question mark cane with the brain draining device on the base between his legs. And then we have his second pose. He's using the magnifying glass that he used in like the diamond store robbery. And I wish that there was a diamond for him to look at, but we can just pretend that the Tesseract in his hand is a diamond that he's looking at. Ooh, that's a good one. No, that's a diamond. And then I have him with his jacket off, which is just a couple of buttons and much easier to take off than I was expecting. But his jacket's off, and we have him with his spandex onesie look, which I actually quite like the look of this outfit, other than the zipper on his back. But he's using the mini brain drain device on himself. And then the fourth look, I have him with his happy Halloween mask, with the look that him and Two-Face are about to go trick-or-treating at Wayne Manor in that one scene from the movie, and him side by side with Two-Face looks really good, but we'll do more of that in a moment. And then I have him with his bomb bag by his feet, and he's really happy with one leg up and the explosion, and with another bat bomb in his hand, like he's about to throw it behind him and the explosion's about to go off. And he also has his hat by his feet on the base. And then I believe the final pose I'll be going for just a more simple look with the jacket on him. And he's got his hat and he's kind of tipping his cap to us. So it looks like he's kind of wearing the hat, but kind of maybe just taking it off. He's got his gold cane, question mark cane in the other hand. He's got the bat bombs down by his feet with the signature drawstring question mark Riddler bag and the big brain drain device by his feet sitting on the base. And I really like just how simple this look looks and just how it has the two different shades of green. If I wanted to take off the jacket, I could. I think I like this head sculpt maybe a little bit better than the other one, although the other one in person looks better, but I think this one overall for most of the poses looked better. And you can have him with the hat on, hat off, not necessarily, you know, leave the hat on, but you can have it like this where he's about to take it off. And I think that looks pretty good. You know, gives a little bit of shadow to one side of his face. And then he still has, you know, the full smiling look, you know, the crazed smile of this crazy man. And I quite like how he looks by himself, but why don't we toss him next to the other Mars Toys 1/6 scale collectible villain from Batman Forever, and that would be Mars Toys Dual-Face, or as we know him, Two-Face. Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face from Batman Forever. But let's toss those two next to each other. Oh yeah, so there's just something right about seeing these two villains from Batman Forever next to each other, and Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face just looks so good with that two-tone colored suit, the two-tone purple side face, the regular side face, and then the green popping next to him. There's something about these Hot Toys, you know, and Mars Toys bases, though. This base in general, the actual design of it, the fact that it says Riddler, the fact that it's got the Batman Forever question mark logo. The Two-Face one is two different colors, slightly different from the Riddler one, who was just all green for the Riddler colors. And, you know, the Riddler one was older, so they updated the Two-Face one just a little bit. But the actual figures themselves, the scale's pretty damn good. The outfit looks good. The face sculpts look good. The accessories are very cool. And for me, it's really just the bases. Like, you know, I want to be able to display them with these crotch grabbers so that they don't fall over. But I want to have my characters slightly closer together. You know what I mean? Like, both of those bases are butted up right next to each other. And there's still like a decent gap between those figures. Now, not too crazy a gap, you know, and if Two-Face had his other hand up, you know, in a wider stance, maybe it wouldn't look like such a great distance between them. If I took both the crotch grabs out, then stuffed them up next to each other, they might be able to stand a little bit closer, which I might do in my display base, you know, on the shelving. But as far as right now, they look great right next to each other, and I really like this. But maybe in the future, I'm going to have to take out those crotch grabbers and have them just standing freely on their own, which I think they'll be able to. But they, you know, would then have the possibility to be able to fall over, which isn't always the best. But why don't we toss the Riddler here next to his muse from the movie and his love from the movie, Mr. Val Kilmer's Batman himself, in the sonar suit from this film. All right, so we got Batman Forever's Batman and Riddler side by side. So now we have Hot Toys Batman in his sonar suit and the Mars Toys Riddler. And, you know, as far as 1/6 scale, they look pretty good next to each other and size-wise. And Jim Carrey's definitely got a slightly smaller, skinnier build than, say, Batman in that movie. And, yeah, there's something about this bat suit in the fact this Batman is so comic booky, and, you know, it doesn't have as much gadgets on his suit, but he definitely has gadgets and things he uses throughout that movie. The Batmobile, his bat plane, he's got a bat boat, you know, like he's got all the gadgets. This Batman Forever, Joel Schumacher era of Batman had all of the gadgets. Maybe even more gadgets than, say, Adam West's Batman. But there is also a boy wonder from that film as well. So let's toss the Riddler next to Robin from Batman Forever. All right, we have Christopher O'Donnell's Robin from Batman and Robin, the boy wonder himself, next to Jim Carrey's Riddler here. And I really like the way that the subtle green on the Robin pops up the green of the Riddler. And ever since I've been watching this movie a lot lately, and ever since I ordered, you know, the Two-Face figure and it was on its way, and I was able to get my hands on the Riddler and the Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, I just was like, I have to unbox these as soon as possible. And over the last 2 weeks, you know, I unboxed Batman and Robin last weekend, and I'm unboxing the Riddler and Two-Face this weekend. So it's been a very heavy 2 weeks of Batman Forever, and I've been watching it a bunch of times, doing research, you know, trying to see the accessories in the movie and see what it comes with the figure and how they compare and how, you know, if they're screen matched and if they're subtly different or anything like that. But, you know, just also seeing how they use the different accessories in the movie to inspire me with posing and in different poses you can do with the figures. You know, so I've been doing quite a bit of Batman Forever research lately. And really the only figure now that I would want from the film would be like a Nicole Kidman, you know, whatever her character's name is. But they don't really do, like, say, Superman, they don't necessarily do Lois, you know, and if it's a Lex Luthor and he doesn't have, like, this super big power armor, he's probably not going to get just, like, a suit figure, you know, unless he looks like Two-Face and he's got these crazy suits that's 2 different colors, you know, he's not John Wick, so he doesn't just get a suit, you know, in what would be the accessories for Lex Luthor. You know, he doesn't necessarily have guns or battle damage or anything like that. When you have like a character who wears a suit like James Bond or John Wick, they can come with a lot more accessories and stuff like that. So you're able to have this figure, though, even though it's in a basic suit, it is the character from the movie. Where like Lex Luthor would just be a bald guy in a suit, you know, it'd be kind of hard to make it look like that particular, you know, they would have to really nail the head sculpt to make a bald Lex Luthor look different from any other bald Lex Luthor, you know what I mean? Speaking of which, I don't know if I have any bald characters. I don't think I have a single bald figure. Maybe Vision, but other than that, or I guess Deadpool as well, but he's wearing his mask and Vision's got like his yellow stone in his forehead and like the red skin that's supposed to be like vibranium meshed skin or something like that. I don't know, but not too many bald figures out here, you know what I mean? Like, not too many bald characters in the MCU or in the DCU. If you can name a bald character other than Lex Luthor, comment below. But let's toss this Riddler on the shelf and see what he's looking like over there with the kind of rearranged DC shelf. All right, so we have a bit of a new layout down here for this shelf. The DX19 Batman has now made his way up to the top corner up there. And now this poor lonely shelf down bottom has just got the Batman, Bat Signal, and King Shark. And they will eventually have some friends, and I guess that will be now a DC shelf. And eventually maybe these Legos will get out of here and this will be another DC shelf, or maybe Marvel. But for now, we have the Riddler and his Batman and Robin with the Joker and Batman Begins Batman. So the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy is kind of in the back corner there. But yeah, so now we have this DC shelf with the Batman, DX19 Batman, the InArt Superman, and eventually I think this Batman from The Batman will get demoted down here with his Bat Signal, and the unboxing for Ben Affleck's Batman will go right next to the other Snyderverse figures, and we'll have some InArt Batman versus his Batfleck Batman next to him, so I can't wait to unbox that guy. Maybe next week for that. Comment below if you want to see some more DC figures next week, or if you want me to switch it up, maybe go back to Marvel, or I maybe have some Predator figures. So if you guys want to see those for next week's videos, make sure to comment that down in the comment section below. And if you've made it this far in the video, I highly appreciate you guys. I really can't thank you enough for checking out this Riddler video. And I got this figure from my local comic book shop called Comically Speaking in Reading, Massachusetts. So if you guys want to go check them out, and they have a decent Hot Toys collection, you know, that can be purchased there. They have giant statues from Sideshow and Hot Toys, but they mostly have giant, you know, comic book collection. They have a whole toy store downstairs. So Legos, all types of stuff. So if you're interested and you're in the area, go check them out. Tell them Big Cam sent you and they should take care of you. But this has been another DC 1/6 scale figure unboxing of Mars Toys, King of Enigma, Riddler with his accessories there, and this amazing looking Jim Carrey head sculpt. I can't wait to toss the Two-Face figure next to him there and have this display more finalized for the Batman Forever figures. But this has been another video. If you guys want to follow my other social medias, links for those down in the description below. And if you've made it this far and you would like to support the channel, the best way to do that is liking this video, commenting down in the comment section below. Make sure you hit that bell if you don't want to miss future 1/6 scale figure unboxings, and you'll get the notifications when those come out. And once again, thank you guys so much. My name is Big Cam, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace!